Good morning, good morning, good morning. A little bit of technical difficulty, but we are live. How is everybody this morning? It's been a couple of weeks. I feel like I'm missing everyone, and it is great to be back, to be home, if you will. I have had so many epiphanies. I went to a conference this week, or last week, I should say. I went to a conference convention, and it was spot on. It was thrilling to see so very many like-minded individuals, all focused on reaching a specific place. They were focused on creating that wealth. And I've got to tell you something, I came back invigorated. I really did, because there is nothing like like-minded individuals that all coming together, all synergizing, all clear about the things that they want. And I tell you, truly, it propelled me for the conversation today. Hit the restart button. That's right. It's been 12 months. And what I'd like for you to do is to take a moment. Let's do an exercise. I want you to go back 10 years. This is 2016. So go back to 2006. What was life like back in 2006? How exciting was your life? Did you see promise? Did you see fulfillment? Were you making that income that you wanted to make? Were you realizing that revenue? Were you realizing that residual? Did you have residual income at that time? Doing something one time and getting paid over and over and over again? Were those things a part of your life? Were you living in the house that you wanted to live in, or you believed that you would very shortly be closing on that house? Was that happening in your life? 2006. I personally remember where I was in 2006. And I've got to tell you, at that time, life was grand. I was unstoppable. There wasn't anything that I couldn't want for that I was not determined that I would not get. I owned a mortgage brokering firm. It was exciting. I had a staff. We lived our dreams. We made those kind of incomes that we thought were wealth. We owned the homes. We did all those types of things. And then something happened. Something horrific happened. In 2008, the bell curve that we've talked about in the past, the bell curve came to fruition, that 10-year cycle. What happened? The banking industry started to flounder. Not only did it flounder, it started to crash. And we were told it was too big to crash. So you and I had to bail the banking industry out. We bailed the auto industry out. We made them millions and billions of dollars. We lent them money that they never lent back. Now, if you and I had done that, it would be game over. 2008. Let's fast forward to today. It's 2016. It's 10 years later. Where are we at? Are we looking at the indicators? Those all important indicators, so that we can make the right decisions for ourselves and for our family, that we can be postured so that we can do that. We started this journey in 2015. It is now 2016. Where are we at in our life cycle? Because that's part and parcel of what I want to talk about today. We said it was a 60-month journey. These are the first 12 months. We may not be where we want to be. However, here's the deal. Are we in the mindset for wealth? You know, I used to think that was the most ridiculous thing I had ever heard of. What do you mean? I'm here. I'm showing up every week or near every week. I'm listening to the replays. What do you mean, am I in the right mindset? I took a course recently on real estate investing. And the first day, a half day, was about our mindset. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my goodness, is this guy for real? He's going to talk about mindset? I'm showing up. I am here. But I'll tell you something that he proved in a very short period of time, that some of us are not ready and we need to get ready. The class went from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And truly, we had 80 people in the class. By the next morning, Saturday morning, we were down to 60. 20 people made a decision that what that gentleman was talking about, either they didn't want it, they weren't ready for it, or they were not willing to do what it was going to take to get there. And to me, that was absolutely amazing. 20 people. The content of that class was incredible. What they had to offer us, those individuals were not waiting to hear it. They checked out. That's why I'm saying hit the restart button, because we need to check in, not check out. How badly do we want what we say that we want? Pamela Stone put up an excellent piece that talked about the 10 reasons why we are not at that place called wealthy. And I want to thank her very much for doing that. Thank her for being a co-host. Thank her for putting up with Brent Harding. That piece from Black Enterprise was superb, because are we willing to do that? Can we hit the restart button today? Today, can we hit the restart button and say, from this point forward, just like a diet, we're going to go and take the action? I've been working with a consultant around the broadcast so that I could narrow in on the areas that truly create wealth. There are 3 of them that I have been able to assess, that when I hone it all down, this is what I've come up with. Entrepreneurship, because we need to own, if you have a job right now, that job is your largest client. That job is a client that you service. And I want you to see something about that when I say that. It is a client that you have a contract with, that you are servicing. You are providing services for that client. Do you know what I just did there? That's a mind shift. That is a mindset, because that job is now viewed as a client that you need to provide services for, that they will provide funds for you. That fits under the heading of entrepreneurship. So the entrepreneurship is profit center number 1. It's followed by a tangible, hard item. That's profit center number 2. I know you know what it is. It is I want to say a product, but that's not really, I'm trying to avoid saying what it is. So let me put it this way. It is an item, it is a category, it is an industry for which it does not matter what the indicators are saying, because when it goes down, we know it's guaranteed to go up. So when you get it, you are either going to sell it, you're going to hold it, you're going to lease it. The point I'm driving at is that the markers and the indicators do not matter with this particular profit center number 2. Profit center number 3 is about money itself. It is money, it is investing, it is stocks, it is bonds, it is all of those lumped into one. But at the end of the day, what I finally came to the conclusion is that the banner that we're under is wealth. The banner is us being wealth warriors. What falls under those subsets fall into 3 categories: entrepreneurship, real estate, I'm saying it, and finally, it's the money, it's the paper, it's the where we invest. It's 1, 2, and 3. Anything else supports. It's the underpinnings that support what we're talking about. Does that make sense? Because I realize that sometimes my message might be convoluted, and I'm trying real hard to be clear and clean about the message so that we can take it in, absorb it. Now, we're going to take it in pieces. We're going to chunk the monkey, so to speak, in pieces. We're not going to throw it all at you. But I'm putting together a kit that deals with those so that we can get this engine moving. We said that we were going to be, no, I want to where we were. We are. I'm putting it in the universe right now. We are going to achieve that wealth. And we're going to achieve it in these three categories. You know why? Because those are the categories of life, after the categories of the financial life. After that, everything else is the underpinnings that support those. Putting the properties in trust, putting them in an LLC, that supports that. Putting this over here, that supports that. But when we look at what we need to do, it only falls in those three. Everything will fall in those three. The business that generates revenue, that can be used to purchase, that can be used to buy into stock and the like. Stock, investments, money, however we're going to put it. That is the driving force. That's where I'm going to for us today. We're doing a rebrand. We are doing a declutter because I looked at where we are at. We need our stories. What is your story? Did you start with the riches and then drop? Because I'll tell you what, that's part of my story personally, is that I had it all. I made some decisions that were not the right decisions. I overdid. You know why? Because I wasn't willing to listen to people. I would not listen. There is a reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. In my case, I had 2 mouths and 1 ear. And I did not hear that there are people that have wisdom that's far greater than us. And I did not listen. So now I'm a magnet, I'm a sponge for that, so that I can give it to you, because we have to give to get. I'm going to be polling us over the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to ask the question, where are you? What do you want to participate in? Some of you are already ready. Some of you have funds and you just do not have a place to place them. I'm getting this. We are going from being moderately assertive to being aggressively assertive. Now, I know what that word aggressive means. So I'm not using it in its purest sense. I'm using it at the height of assertiveness. We are now ready to assert ourselves into position so that we can make it happen. We're ready to assert ourselves in position so we can make it happen. 12 months we've been here. It is time now for Wealth Warriors to rebrand itself. It is time for all of us to clear the clutter. We've got a specialist that talks to us about that. Guess what? There are no excuses. It is all up to us. I'm check marking. See, I'm check marking as I go along. There are no excuses. In some instances, we're going to do some things we've never done before. I set up my calendar for this week, and I'm doing something that I've never done before. I am going to literally make 400 phone calls, and I'm asking for all of you to hold me accountable next week. Brent, did you get it done? I will have made 400 phone calls. I am calling people about entrepreneurship. I am calling folks about wealth. I want to know who wants to be in the arena of what Robert Kiyosaki said in his book, Business School, Help People Helping People. It was written in 2001. One of the best books that I've ever read by him. I really appreciated it. And it's about us being able to be a collective and help each other and actually take some action. There are some of you out in our audience. out in the wealthy audience that are actually going to become partners with me, with each other. We're going to purchase some real estate together because I have got a secret weapon that I'm not even going to discuss on here. When I call you, we're going to talk about that weapon. So for those of you that are ready and poised, we are going to move forward. I've talked to some colleagues in California. I've talked to colleagues here. I've said it's time for us to, we've got to have stories to share of what this program has been all about. It has been to get us to that place. Your grandchildren, your children being able to be in business with you and to foster that. We're going to unpeel. We're not going to have any more secrets about how we make it happen because we're going to become the evidence of what we're saying. Because we've talked long enough. Now it's time to be the evidence. The three areas, those three growth areas, are the areas that this program is going to focus in on. And then the underpinnings, for example, property in an LLC. The class that I took, that 5 of us took, was amazing relative to that. Beautiful LLC. We'll be talking about that. The mindset and the mind shift. We oftentimes think, oh, Brent, you got to be kidding me. And I said that before. Do I really need to talk about mindset? Yeah, we do. You know why? Because we need to be ready, willing, and able. The pivotal part is, what are we willing to do to get there? What are we willing to do to get there? I want something so bad. I cleared the calendar. I am willing to make 400 phone calls to get there. And you know what I know? I know that 350 people are going to say no. 350 people are going to say, Brent, I don't want to do that. And that's okay, because you know what? There'll be 50 that say, let's get it done. And guess what? The other 350 will come. It's just that it isn't their time. So the question is it your time? Because I'll tell you one thing. After I got through, after that conference, and conferences are designed to get you going. But it's the long haul that makes the difference. The long haul that makes the difference. I know I probably sound preachy today, do I not? But I'm in that mindset. I am so in that mindset. We heard a speaker by the name of Anthony Knotts talk to us. And one of the most powerful things that he discussed, I mean, he raised the roof, and he talked about doubt. D-O-U-B-T. Do we doubt? Do we place the doubt in our own head and then foster that doubt by not taking action? Do we do that? Because oftentimes that's what happens. We've got a blueprint. The blueprint is written. Did we follow the blueprint, or are we deviating off and coming up with excuses? Doubt is something that, guess what? It gets created by ourselves. Just like fear, false evidence appearing real. It's like going into that room. The room is dark. And our mind starts to go and race in all kinds of directions about what could possibly be in the room. I want to tell you how I solved that problem. Are you ready for this? I put all the light switches on the outside of the room. I remember when I sold my first property, it was my first home. And the buyers that would come in, or the prospective buyers that would come in, they would look and they would say, there's something really strange about these rooms. And they would go in, they'd walk around, and it wasn't the size. It wasn't the look of the room. The walls were painted, and I liked white walls, so everything got painted white. So it wasn't any of those things. And then finally, one person says, why are all the light switches on the outside of the rooms? And then other people that were there noticed the light switches. And they're looking at the light switches, and it's hitting them. And I said, because I do not want to walk into a dark room. I want to walk in knowing everything that's in that room when I walk in. I remember an attorney saying to me years and years ago, he says, you want to go into the room knowing the vote. If you don't have the vote, then you don't bring it up because it's a no-win situation. The light switches, oh, that was a winner because I never went into a dark room. I always knew. And poof, if the light switch, if the light bulb went out, guess what? I knew that I didn't need to go into that room then. I waited until morning when it was light. There wasn't anything that was so pivotal. And so for those of you who are going to say, hey, Brent, what about the bedroom? I'm going to tell you something. I rotated that light bulb in the bedroom every month. So I knew I was not coming into a dark room. Also, inside that room, right here near the inside light switch, I had an outside and an inside. Inside the light switch was a flashlight. See, that's called the backup plan. And we are driving ourselves for that. Woo! I hope that you got some nuggets out of that. Here's the nuggets that I'm hoping that you're taking away today, and that is it's a restart. Restart. That is a hashtag restart, because that is where we're going with this. Next one, hashtag rebrand, hashtag clear the clutter. Big one, hashtag no excuses. And I'm not making any for me either. No excuses. Do what we've never done before. Go where we've never gone before. There are many of us that remember that statement, and I'm not going to say what show it was from or anything else. We just know where it was from. 3 focus areas we're going to grow our wealth in. Hashtag mindset. Hashtag something different. A mind shift. There's another key piece to all of this. Accountability. I heard an incredible speaker, Tanya Mizell, talk about accountability. Who are you going to be accountable to? I'm grown, Brent. I don't need to be accountable to anybody. I'm going to share with you that is probably one of the biggest mistakes that prevents us from creating wealth, is we don't have anybody to be accountable for or to, because I'm grown. Sometimes we don't even want to be accountable to our spiritual selves. Accountability is huge. And it's how you want to be accountable. Because whoever is going to be your accountability partner is going to ask you, how do you want me to interface with you when you are not doing what you said you were going to do? Do you want me to give you a kick? Do you want me to get the butt kicking machine out? Do you want me to yell and scream? Do you want me to be soft and say, what in the world are you doing? How do you want me to be that accountability partner that inspires you to take action? See, I can't motivate you. We're grown. I can't motivate you. You, us, we have to motivate ourselves. However, from an accountability point of view, that I can do. So who is your accountability partner? Who is in it to win it with you? I want you to think about that for a moment, because that is pivotal. That is unnecessary. Find somebody. I called somebody and said, will you be my accountability partner? And he said yes. Now we just have to find a day and time that it can be consistent. And accountability is not a long process. It's not a how you doing. No. We're here. What you got? What are your numbers? What are you measuring yourself towards? That's what this is about. Now, I hope this morning that you got some good stuff, that you're thinking on this, because we are moving in the right direction. We said that it's going to be 100,000 people. We're only at 286. So 286. So we got to move now. We got to move. But you know what's beautiful? 200 people can change a universe. I heard a gentleman speak. He had 100 people on the conference call, and they said what they were going to do in a period of 90 days. And it was amazing. They said, we are now ready to crush out. And it was extraordinary to hear this. I sat there going, are you kidding me? This was phenomenal. And I know that he's going to get it done because he's already become the evidence of it. You and I are going to become the evidence for our family. We're going to do things that people are going to say, oh man, I've already been down that road. Isn't that a pyramid? Isn't that a this? They're going to say those things. And that's why I'm sharing with you how pivotal that mindset has got to be. How pivotal it has got to be. Because you may be the only one in your household that is on this track. You may be the only one that gets it, because I'm sharing with you that we're talking about becoming financially independent and living and leaving a legacy for the next generation. That, I tell you truly, that has been now what I know to be my cause, my journey personally to you. And I hope to pour it into you because somebody poured it into me. So when I talk about a Project 1000, the movement, when I talk about Wealth Warriors, all of that is encompassed under one purpose: to help 100,000 families become financially independent and leave a legacy. Real simple. Using 3 elements to make that happen: entrepreneurship, real estate, and money invested wisely, all together to create that one element: wealth. Single word, #wealth. We are warriors, #wealth warriors. That is the quintessential. That is what I am breathing in my business life for. And the beauty is, it's not about me, it's about you. It really is, because we all want to leave something. I want to leave something for you. Something was done for me. I have got to pay it forward until somebody grabs hold and they're willing to go the next level. And I'll tell you, I've got some amazing ladies that have been, rephrase that, amazing ladies and men that are on this journey with me. And truly, I give it to them, because they are some of the drive. They are some of the infusion that keeps me going when I say, that's accountability. When you've got folks that have linked arms with you and they're going with you, I want to go with you and I want you to go with us if you will allow it. Again, the mindset says ready, willing, and able. Are you willing to do what it takes and to be grown in the process? Are you ready to do it? There were 20 people that made a decision and they walked out. They walked out and did not hear the most incredible nugget. They missed the whole thing. Can you imagine being able to borrow money at 1%? They missed that. They walked out. They don't get it. Isn't that a travesty? My hope is that you will not check out. Rather, you will check in and rebrand with us. That is my hope. And I'll tell you what, if it's 200, guess what 200 have the ability to do? They have the ability to go and each get 200. We can do this. Do you believe it? Do you believe that we can do this? I'll tell you what, if I did not believe this, I wouldn't be here. But I realize now that just believing it is not enough. It's got to be a mindset. It's got to be a way of walking. You know, one of my business partners this morning, actually she is my senior business partner, sent me a message. And that message was, how goes it? And I sent her back a message that I am so enthusiastic about because I said, and I meant it, and I actually sent her a copy, a picture of what I was talking about. And I said, I cleared that calendar, so I have no excuse for making those phone calls. None whatsoever for making those calls and appealing to folks to check in to create wealth. What are you going to do today to get your ball started? How about this? A homework assignment. Two things. Understand what mindset means and interview accountability partners. Two assignments. Understand what mindset means. What is mindset? Because again, I sat there going, it just didn't resonate. Now it does. So what is mindset? Accountability partner. Those are the two things that I am sharing and asking you to do today as homework assignments. And I'm going to put those into the feed. Those are our homework assignments. Look up the word mindset. Somebody put into the feed. I'm not going to put it in myself. Somebody put into the feed the definition of mindset. Somebody put in the definition of mindset. That's one. Second, accountability partner. Who is your accountability partner? Who's going to hold your feet to the fire? Who are you going to let hold your feet to the fire and make it happen? And accountability is no, hey girl, hey guy, what's going on? It's not that. It is who's holding your feet to the fire. You wrote down, these are the things that I'm going to do this week. Did you get them done? I'm asking all of you to hold me accountable to those 400 phone calls. And I want you to be in the feed on Saturday going, Brent, how many calls? Brent, how many calls? Brent, how many calls? And I'm going to give you that number. I'm going to give you that number. And then you're going to say, okay, Brent, where is the documentation? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be holding that documentation up and showing you. I'm already writing those names in a book of people that I need to call. I have gone through my cell phone and I'm writing down those names. I set one day for appointments, and the rest of the days, they're about making those calls because I'm asking you to hold me accountable. Who's going to be your accountability partner? I'll tell you what, we're about to have the past 12 months. The past 12 months are not going to be they're not going to be a reflection to the next 12 months. Everything we did, that was dress rehearsal. Today, going forward, this is the anniversary month. We're in it to win it. How many of you are in it to win it? Say it, I'm in it to win it. No doubt, no fear, fearless. That's the quintessential. That is the quintessential for us today. Whew. Did I throw enough out at you? Did I throw enough out at you? I hope that I did. Test it out. Start thinking it through. Talk to some folks about it. Get their feedback. All of you are going to hear from me this week. I am going to send a message out. I want to know what it is that you're looking for personally. And I'm going to strike it up and we're going to have this many people here, this many here, this many here. I'll be doing launch calls this week about entrepreneurship. I'm going to invite you to the launch calls. In fact, not only will I be doing this, a couple of my associates are going to be doing launch calls on entrepreneurship this week. We're actually going to bust it out because our goal is to see as many people as possible in that working on their first profit center. Now, can you work on them simultaneously? Yeah, but you got to have someplace that's the real starting point. So for us, that real starting point is about entrepreneurship. What did Jim Rohn say? And I share this over and over. He said that he worked his full-time job so he could build his part-time fortune. That's where we're beginning. And it starts with the mindset and a mind shift. I got to tell you, it's an amazing life. We all have and it doesn't matter how old you are. I had a colleague here last night working with me, 71 years old. And he said, Brent, I haven't given up. I am going to do this. And like many of us, he had the ups and downs. He had it, lost it, had it, lost it. He wants it back. This time, unlike the past, he is surrounding himself with like-minded people that want the same thing so that we can all be going in that direction at the same time. Well, maybe not the same time, but we're within the scope of time so that everybody becomes what they said they wanted to become and they leave it for the next generation. That's where we're at in the scheme of things. We're going to give ourselves till the end of this month. We're going to start off May on April 30th. And we're going to start it off in a very unique way because I want us to have that feel. I want us to drive those endorphins so that come May 1st, it is bang, 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 bang. I want you to put yourself on a 90-day diet, a 90-day success diet. What are we losing? The clutter that's in our existence. We're losing the excuses no, we're not losing them. We're cutting them off. There's no loss. Cutting it off. That means it's not coming back. We're not growing an appendage of excuse. We're not growing appendage of clutter. It's gone. It's done. I talked to somebody yesterday. He said, Brent, I got one of those rollouts. He said, a dumpster, rollout dumpster. He said, and I just started dumping it. If you haven't touched that item in 2 years, I'm sure that Pamela would say that's the beginning of the declutter. Certainly, if it's 5 years old, the IRS only goes back 7 years. So if you got all that stuff and you're terrified, make a phone call. Call the IRS. Am I going to need anything beyond this period of time? Put it in the cloud, but get it out. Get rid of it because it serves no useful purpose. So that you can begin it May 1st, 90 days. We're now measuring it in shorter periods of time. We're not letting a year go by and then closing our eyes and taking a look back. 3 months, 90 days, measure. Next 90 days, measure. Why? Because in that 12-month period of time, there are 286 people in this group right now. At least 50% should have a new piece of real estate. They should have a business that is fully established and at least one piece of real estate so that they're bringing in revenue. Over here, bringing in royalties, bringing in residuals so that we have different streams of where that money is coming from. You remember what Edith Jeffrey said? My grandmother, who's passed away 24 years ago. It is a poor rat that only has one hole. You can call me a rat as long as I got plenty of holes that I can run in. And those holes are about the income. How many streams of income do you have right now? How many streams of income do you have that you can pass on to the next generation? How many streams of income do you have so that if something goes wrong, you've got revenue coming in that will cover not just a rainy day, that will cover life? It's the race. It's now time to light it up a little bit. We were walking. It's now time for us to jog. And ultimately, we are going to run, Forrest, run. That is what is happening. Okay, let's go and do one more time. Let's take one more run before we wrap up today. We're hitting the restart button. Why? Because it's been 12 months. So now we'll hit the restart button in better shape than we were 12 months ago, but it is still a restart. We're going to rebrand Wealth Warriors. because it's been a year. And after a year, it is time to rebrand it because we've grown. So some of that other stuff we don't need to deal with anymore because we've grown. Yes. We're going to clear the clutter. We're going to clear that stuff out because it's not important anymore. It is taking up space, which is not allowing other information, other things to flow in. And some of that clutter is up here. So we're clearing, we're decluttering. We are making sure that there aren't any excuses, and we're going to have an accountability partner to ensure that we do not create excuses. Well, I didn't get it done because no. Either you didn't get it done because you didn't want to get it done, you didn't choose to get it done. Because unless you are dying, unless you're in the hospital on the verge of death, or your loved one is in the hospital on the verge of death, no excuses. In fact, I'll tell you how powerful that statement is. A gentleman attended the conference. The funeral for his father was the funeral for his father had occurred. He then caught a flight to come to the conference. He respectfully buried his father. He respectfully went to the repast. He did all the things that were respectful to the family. Then he got on a plane and he came to the conference. Why? Because he had a mission and he was going to fulfill that. He had a new child come into the world, and he said, I am setting things up now for that new child so that he will have a pattern that he can duplicate for his family. And people were just astonished, but he was very clear. He wasn't going to allow anything, and by no means shall I say his dad's funeral was an excuse. By no means am I saying that. What I am saying is he prioritized, and he knew what he had to do. And he knew that he had to put his father to rest, and he knew he had to prepare his son for a life that will be amazing, and it will be replicated for generation after generation. That's all it is. I wore a T-shirt while I was at the convention. My business partner, associate, she is a shero, and she had a T-shirt, and I'm going to leave it with this. She had a T-shirt. Originally, I didn't understand this message, and the message was never again. I sat there going, what in the world? Nah, I don't get it. I'm driving down the street, and something happens, and I say, never again am I going to be in this position. And I went, oh my goodness, there it is. I want for us to say, we are wealth warriors, and never again are we going to be in a position where we're not leaving for the next generation. If it depends on me, it will be. Have you heard that saying before? Now, when you're thinking today, if it depends on me, it must be. And the reality is, it depends on all of us to start to be that first generation wealth baby and to pass it on. Whew, what a day. It is your job to go out today and be everything that you can be. And above all else, be extraordinary. I will see you next week, same time, same channel. 2 assignments, get them done. Have a great one. Be extraordinary.